glad you could be here for the Broadway show. I'm Tamsen Fadal. Let's get going.
She's the winningest star in Tony Awards history.
The revival of Gypsy stars 6-time Tony Award winner Audra McDonald in the central role. Let's send it out to Paul Wontorek.
Audra, this is happening. I'm so excited.
Oh my gosh, I'm so everything. Excited and scared.
Since you're the first Black actress to get to do this role in a big way, especially on Broadway, was it not on your dream list? Was it not something you thought was possible?
No, it wasn't on my dream list. Especially, when I first got to New York, I was like, who's gonna, I hope someone does a revival of Dreamgirls so I can be in that, or, so like even getting cast in Carousel was just like, what? Real? Okay, cool. But so it wasn't. But then I had the one Thanksgiving dinner about 8 years ago, and Gavin Creel, who we spent a lot of Thanksgivings together, he's a very close family member to us, He dragged me into my garage after we had eaten. He goes, hey, I want to talk to you about something. You need to play Rose and Gypsy. You need to do it. You need to do it. It's just right. And it should be a Black woman. And honey, you need to do it. You need to figure out how you're going to do this. You have to absolutely do this. And George Wolfe even said a few years ago, Gavin cornered George and said, are you going to direct Audra in this? Because you have to do it. So he kind of put it in my head.
George is one of the most brilliant directors. What is the vision here? I mean, and you've been talking to him for a while. I've been hearing whispers of it for a few years and getting really excited about the idea of you two doing this together. What is the take?
You're going to see, this iconic story of a mother who has ambitions and dreams and a desire to, have her daughters have more than what she had, to stop generational trauma, to make sure that her daughters aren't, subjugated to, an unfulfilled life. Certain lines may hit different. Hearing a Black woman say, I was born too soon and got started too late. I mean, that you feel that for women as well, but maybe it'll hit different coming from a Black woman. Yeah, I mean, I just think it's that. It's just going to maybe perhaps resonate in a different way.
You have 2 beautiful daughters yourself, so I'm sure you're relating on a whole other level. And your mama bear, you've said that to them.
They're excited to see it. Joy Woods is about 8 months older than my oldest daughter. So being a mother, having raised kids and knowing what that pain and beauty and passion is, living it in my real life. Sometimes it's hard to get through some of the numbers. Rose's turn especially, because I know that pain that she's in.
Drink if they've called you a nag. Drink if they've called you a slut or a shrew. Drink if they've called you a crazy hag. Drink if the rumors are true.
Suffs is blazing trails on Broadway.
For a limited time only, you've got just a few weeks left to catch Suffs in New York City.
I caught up with one of the stars of Suffs, Jenn Colella, at the Skylark. When I went and saw Suffs, I went, I didn't realize what we needed to do to get here and what we still need to do.
Isn't that wild? The reverberation of these women's voices that we're able to speak and sing on stage is causing this effect directly to women. We're hearing this right now in the present moment, as if we need to hear it right now, because we do. So while so much has happened that has moved us forward, we still have such a long way to go, and Suffs is kind of showing us that. It's wild.
It is wild, and then I think, actually when I was sitting there watching, I was thinking, like, where are we going to be in 10 more years? Like how this show looks in 10 more years. Will we have advanced in a lot of different ways? I mean, we're seeing some
Yes.
signs of it.
We are seeing some signs, right? That's the other thing that's happening right now, is this sense of hopefulness and joy politically that we have not felt. It's also interesting to be in a show that is a musical, but still is very much political. Even if we try to stay, when we try to stay like bipartisan, it's not. It's partisan. It's women's suffrage, and we're making a statement by just sharing something that actually happened. So yeah, I think 10 years from now, I have some hope that we will have actually made some great strides from the tide that we're feeling right now.
It's women that are part of history, recently part of history as well.
Absolutely. I mean, the suffrage movement was only 100 years ago.
Isn't that
which
crazy?
Is not
It
that long
doesn't
ago.
even
It's
make
just
sense.
a second ago. So I played Carrie Chapman Catt, and she was the president of the National American Women's Suffrage Association for 20 years and fought tirelessly. I mean, devoted more than 80% of her life to this cause and to peace across the world. And she's just one tiny little piece of the story. Alice Paul, was in prison and went through hunger strikes with all of her buddies. Ida B. Wells put herself and her family at risk because she continued to speak up for what she believed in. These women were pioneers for women speaking out and not just conforming. And we need them right now. We need to be reminded of their strong voices in this moment.
Do you feel like you learned a lot going back and doing research and going back and figuring out how to research this role?
Tamsen, I had no idea anything about the suffrage movement. Maybe, Susan B. Anthony, right? Like Seneca Falls was in there somewhere from some quiz. I did not know anything about it. And so learning not only about the movement, but about these women and how they had to work together and sometimes fight one another for forward progress is really helping me be not only a better person, but a better advocate for things that I believe in now. I believe being playing a strong character also means that I need to be a strong leader. And to do that, I need to hear some of the lessons that they taught us about, being persistent even when it's not cute or demure to be that way.
You, I guess, started this show and had a 5-month-old little girl, a 5-week-old, a 5-day-old.
Get into it. I know. Can you stand it?
I can't even say that.
I know. I can't.
5 days old.
I
How did you do that? How do you do it? Does it work with your sleeping schedule, maybe?
I have to give credit to my wife, Mo Mullen. We realized that these two things were happening at the same time, that I was giving birth to a Broadway show that I've been working on for 7 years and to our child at the same time. And she said, I know that you need to put your heart, and this is part of your life's work. I have believed in Suffs for so many years and turned other things down so I could be a part of it. And so she's just taken the reins and really is the one to get up with Morrison, our daughter, more often. I still do because I love the mornings now. Yeah. She's made me love the morning. Yes. As a theater person, that never happens. It was six this morning. I get up and she's in her crib and she sees my little face and she does this sort of like coy smile. It's the best if you forget about what time it is, or I don't care what sleep is. It's been beautiful and challenging to do both, but being her mom has definitely put things in perspective. There's nothing more important. I've never been able to say that. Theater's always been the most important thing. So now I have a new kind of love of my life and focus, and it just makes kind of going to work feel actually even more beautiful and like a privilege, because I know that I get to tell her the kind of work that I'm doing, what I'm working on right now, to tell her about Suffs and how it happened in this moment, like how Suffs is fitting into the zeitgeist in this moment. Feels like alchemy and something very, very special.
Life of Pi is coming soon to a city near you. It's the quest for survival, based on the best-selling novel. First stop, Baltimore's Hippodrome Theater. We got to know the stars.
Sharing Life of Pi across the whole country. I got to do this on Broadway for about 7 weeks. I came in as a swing for a very different role. When I joined, I knew I could feel how unique it was in its entirety. There was really, truly nothing like it. It blew my mind the first time that I saw it, and then had the opportunity to perform in it. To know that this will be more accessible to people as it goes to all of these different cities and expose them to the diversity, the puppetry, the set. Like, there is nothing like this on tour right now. Yeah, getting to share something that's entirely unique for America and for all of theater and puppetry, and a celebration of all the things that storytelling is all about.
I think the design of Life of Pi is really epic. The visuals are stunning, they're immersive, you feel like you're on the water in the boat with Pi, and we have an original score that sort of is the emotional undercurrent of the play. It really gives you the feeling of watching a musical in its scope and in the design and in the sound, but it has the emotional depth and complexity of character of a play. So I think you kind of get the best of both worlds with Life of Pi.
I like to think that we are all Richard Parker, but Richard Parker in our story is embodied as a Bengal tiger puppet that is operated by 3 people, but he's so much more than that. He is the embodiment of forces of nature. He's the embodiment of our primal urges inside of us all. That's why I like to say that we are all Richard Parker.
Everyone is a puppeteer and everyone is an actor. The tiger is obviously incredible. The character, it's a piece of art, so it's amazing to just look at on stage. And it takes a lot to operate it in the way that we do. But also, it wouldn't be the show without the butterflies and the meerkats and the fish. The cinematic experience of it is quite extraordinary.
Life of Pi to me is a story of survival, of course, but it's also about the stories that we tell ourselves, the stories that we keep, the stories we hold on to get ourselves through life. What I would want audiences to learn is to lead with love, even in times of crisis.
It's time to take a walk with a Broadway star, so let's send it out to Charlie Cooper.
Matthew, we are walking you to work today, and how cool is it to be able to walk the guy who gets to play Harry Potter every day to work? What's that like?
You mean talking myself, walking myself to work? Is that cool?
I'm walking
I don't
you
think
to
of it
work.
like that. That's great. This is 43rd Street, and of course I did a show here 13 years ago, and a show here 7 years ago. My gosh, crazy, time flies.
Nostalgic.
Yeah.
Full circle moment.
Yeah, full circle.
I love that. Well, let's walk to work.
Yeah, let's do it.
It's funny that we talk about full circle because you actually were into Harry Potter a long time ago. You auditioned for the Harry Potter films as a kid.
I did. I must have been about 9 or 10.
Yeah.
How old's Daniel? I think that 35. Yeah, so about the same age.
What was it about just the storyline that just captivated you?
Oh my gosh, I mean, at that age to be involved, I'd read all the books and my mom had read all of them with me when I was 10, so. I mean, the world itself, everybody was obsessed with the books, I was, and so yeah, to get the opportunity to audition at that age was crazy.
Yeah, that's insane.
But they didn't give me a part.
Well, you know what,
Which
look
super
at you
sucked.
now. Look at you now, Harry.
And now, Harry.
They're lost.
They're
We're
lost.
gonna call it a loss on their part. But listen, I am curious to know what rehearsals were like. You stepping into the role of Harry, that's pretty huge. And this is, of course, a story that people love.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very technical show, as you know.
Yeah.
So most of the backstage traffic is very complicated, and just getting yourself used to that and getting involved in that takes a few minutes to adjust to, and then obviously also doing all the scene work and working with the amazing cast. It's been one heck of a journey.
I can only imagine the wizardry, the illusions. How do
That's
you
right.
nail that?
Well, let me tell you, some of the stuff that happens in the show, even though I now know how it's done, I still don't understand it because it's so good. It's, yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, I feel like that's such a huge part of all of this, and I can only imagine how much just the audience plays into their reactions alone plays into the way in which you perform.
Even the very first time I saw this show was back in the UK in 2017, I think.
Yeah.
And I'll always remember this moment when I was sitting next to this little girl and something happened in the show, and I audibly was just like, "What the?" And I didn't say the word because I didn't understand how they did it. And now I know, but I remember that little girl looking up at me because we had exactly the same reaction.
Making Harry your own, I mean, such huge shoes to fill.
Yeah, huge. You think you're a fan of the show and then you meet fans of the Harry Potter universe and then you realize you've got some catching up to do. So it's certainly intimidating, and I'm just hoping I'm going to do a good job. It's a lot of research, and I'm just sort of coming along for the ride and hoping I'm going to do a good job.
This is the Broadway Show, and we're back in just a few. It's good to be the king. The Lion King, still one of Broadway's most popular musical experiences. Here's an exclusive musical performance from the Broadway.com studio.
Where has the starlight gone? Dark is the day. How can I find my way home? Home is an empty dream, lost to the night. Father, I feel so alone. You promised you'd be there whenever I needed you. you're not anywhere. I'm trying to hold on, just waiting to hear your voice. One word, just a word will do to end this nightmare. When will the dawning break? Oh, endless night, sleepless, I dream of the day when you were by my side, guiding my path. Father, I can't find the way. You promised you'd be there whenever I needed you. Whenever I call your name, you're not anywhere. I'm trying to hold on, just waiting to hear your voice. One word, just a word will do to end this nightmare.
It's been called the greatest American play ever written. It's a revival of Our Town and Our Town for Our Times. And it's directed by the great Kenny Leon.
Hi, everyone. This is Julie Halston, and welcome to Our Town at the Barrymore Theater. And I just want to start this little segment by saying this is the stage that Marlon Brando and Jessica Tandy did Streetcar Named Desire on. I mean, how cool is that? And then we're doing Our Town, which is another classic American play, on this same stage? These are the stairs that I actually go down in one of the scenes in the show. And the thing that's so cool about this production of Our Town is that we use the entire stage, but we also use the rows, and we make this whole theater our community. And here's a little secret, a backstage secret, that a lot of people don't know. If you sit in the tippy top of the balcony area, you will see that these incredible light fixtures form a question mark. So as I walk through, after my first scene as Mrs. Soames, Luella Soames, I go right through this little pass door, and who is sitting there? Right here, Jim Parsons sits right here, and that's when we decide, what kind of audience do we have today? Are they with us? Are they, figuring out the show? Are they younger people? Are they older people? We talk about the audience right here, Jim Parsons and I, and we always say, if they're not quite on board yet, wait till the second act, and then they always get on board, because who doesn't like a love story? And now we're gonna go down the stairs. There's a puzzle club. I, of course, have no puzzle skills. I am absolutely flabbergasted by people who can do this. I'm sorry. This is the puzzle that they're working on. I would have a nervous breakdown. And there were sweatshirts. There are actually sweatshirts, I believe, that you can wear for the Jigsaw Puzzle Club. Here we go, back upstairs. Look, here are these incredible pieces of art, these wonderful collages. 28 of them were made for opening night by the one and only Katie Holmes. She is not only a terrific actress, a beautiful woman inside and out, she's very crafty, great cook, she can sew, she can do it all. Anyway, here's my dressing room. I share it with Shyler Lefner, who is a dream. There's nothing more thrilling to me than being in a Broadway theater and having a dressing room and being part of the Broadway community. And I know a lot of people hear the word places and they like get nervous or scared. It thrills me every show.
And that's going to do it for us. But for tickets, or if you want to check out extended cuts of all these interviews, head over to Broadway.com. I'm Tamsen Fadal, and this is The Broadway Show.